prominent Republican pundit George Will announced that he left the Republican Party over Donald Trump. Let's watch.
You announced this week that you have left the Republican Party. Why?
I left it for the same reason I joined it in 1964 when I voted for Barry Goldwater. I joined it because I was a conservative. I leave for the same reason that I'm a conservative. Give you a timeline. Shortly after Trump became the presumptive nominee, he had a summit meeting with Paul Ryan where they stressed their common principles and their vast shared ground, which is much more important than their differences. I thought that was puzzling, doubly so because Paul Ryan still didn't endorse him. After Trump went after the Mexican judge from northern Indiana, then Paul Ryan endorsed him. And I decided that, in fact, this is not my party anymore. I changed my registration to unaffiliated 23 days ago. I hardly made an announcement. I just mentioned this in a meeting with the Federalist Society. So the long and the short of it is, as Ronald Reagan said when he changed his registration, I did not leave the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party left me.
Now, not surprisingly, Donald Trump has tweeted his reaction to this news today. Let's put it up on the screen. He says that you are overrated and that you lost your way a long time ago. Would you like to respond, Mr. Trump?
He has an advantage on me because he can say everything he knows about any subject in 140 characters, and I can't.
All right.
That was actually a pretty good burn at the end there. I give him credit for that. The first time I saw it, I did chuckle a little bit. I was like, oh, shit. Because that's kind of true about Trump, like short bursts. And he says it aggressively and powerfully, and people go, yeah. It just pierces through, even into thick-headed people's minds. They're like, yeah, I get what he's saying. Mexicans bad. Yeah. But overall, let's understand exactly where George Will is coming from here. Now, he dropped in there the thing about, oh, he attacked the Mexican judge, which is why I cannot in good faith stay in the Republican Party anymore. He uses that as his reason why. But wait a second. When Trump launched his campaign, what did he say? He said, the Mexicans, they're rapists, they're criminals. I assume some are good people. He, much later on, said, I want to ban all Muslims from entering the United States. Okay. When he became the nominee, those things still existed. He still said those things. That wasn't when George Will left the Republican Party. That wasn't when he left the Republican Party. So we already knew he was a xenophobe and a bigot. I mean, he said those things early on. He said he wants to deport 11 million people early on. Well, why didn't you leave the party then? Or why didn't you leave the party right when he became the nominee? It doesn't make any sense. Because you're feigning, oh my God, it's the bigotry. I can't take it. I can't take it. Okay, but what about Mitt Romney? So you didn't leave the party over Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney famously said 47% of the population of the country will never take responsibility for their own actions. They don't believe in working hard. They believe in handouts. They believe in free stuff. They're moochers. They're parasites. His famous 47% comment. Who's included in that 47%? He's talking about Democrats. So overwhelmingly, he's talking about minorities. Over 90% of the black community, for example, vote Democratic. So you're just saying the black community, moochers, parasites. It's pretty fucking racist, man. That's pretty xenophobic and bigoted. But did he leave the Republican Party then? I can't. This is so... Look at this. Bigotry. I can't take it. I must leave. This doesn't represent me. No, he didn't. He voted for Mitt Romney. In fact, he predicted Romney would win in a landslide. He loved Mitt Romney. So what is it? Why would you leave the Republican Party now after the history? I mean, the Republicans admit they ran the Southern strategy for decades. They still do. The Southern strategy means try to get white racists in the South to vote for you because you're not going to get minorities. So all of a sudden now, oh my God, he said something about a Mexican judge. I cannot believe it. No, you know what it's really about? It's about Trump's economic populism. For those of you who don't know anything about George Will and you don't know anything about these establishment Republicans, and that's what they are through and through, the establishment, all they care about is free trade deals because it makes their corporate buddies richer. All they care about is reforming Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, / privatizing to hand all the money over to their buddies on Wall Street and screw over the American people. So don't get it twisted. He got no problem with the xenophobia and the bigotry. Sure, Trump is more out there with it and straightforward with it, and they prefer the coded language. But the thing that really, really gets under their skin is hey, sometimes when he talks about politics and economic issues, he just sounds like a liberal. I mean, we covered his speech against Hillary Clinton recently. His first 11 minutes of his speech was just wall-to-wall liberalism. I'm not kidding. You go listen to him for yourself, man. Everything was Hillary Clinton is corrupt. She raised this amount of money from this person, that amount of money from that person. We need to stop with these free trade deals. We got to do this. We got to do that. I want Bernie Sanders voters. Come to me. Now, again, I don't believe him, so let's be clear about that. He's a liar. He's a con artist, and he's actually not a bad one. So he can really dupe people over. But that's why he's mad, because guys like George Will, they don't know, hey, are my donor buddies going to be able to control him? Is he going to be a sufficient puppet? They don't know. They don't know the answer to that. Now, I think maybe that is the case, that they can control him and he'll end up being the most establishment politician in human history. But they don't know because he seems like a fucking loose cannon. He's off the walls. He says one thing one day, another thing another day. He's got thin skin. It's so obvious. He doesn't have the temperament. He has the temperament of a toddler. So they look at him going, I don't know if we can control him. So now we all got to, stage this coup. Bill Kristol, I'm leaving the Republican Party. George Will, oh, me too. It's like, the only people on the planet who I dislike more than Donald Trump is you. George Will, people are acting or pretending like this makes him a good person now. Do you know nothing about politics? And do you know nothing about George Will's record? He's in favor of every bad policy ever done in human history. So here you got a guy, oh my God, more tax cuts for the rich. Oh my God, more unnecessary wars. Oh yeah, let's do more free trade deals. Yay. And now people are like, oh, so principled, leaving the party over Trump. The fuck are you talking about? Again, Bill Kristol, George Will, these are the only people on the planet who are worse than Trump. So don't misunderstand why they're really doing what they're doing. It's not about the xenophobia and the bigotry. That was obvious from day one, and they had nothing to say about it early on. They had nothing to say about it when it was Mitt Romney. Okay, this has to do with his position, or what he says is his position, I don't think it really is, on economic issues. And they don't like the fact that there's a chance he won't cut Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and he won't do more free trade deals, and he won't partake in the money and politics system, even though he's trying to. So that's what this is really about.